They say I wouldn't do it like I won't. They say I couldn't do it and they feel. They say I wouldn't do it and I fold. They say I couldn't do it and I did. I'm a champion. I'm a champion.
Welcome back to the follow everyone to Talk Your Walk podcast. This is where we dive into the stories, journeys, the inside of the most inspiring figures in sports, life, business, and beyond. Today we're thrilled to have an honor, I should say, a legend of the rugby league, Amy Hardcastle. Massive honor to have you here. He's not only a trailblazer in the sports of rugby league, but he's continued to redefine what it means to excel in sports. With her career, she's represented England on the international stage since 2009. Still going, played in multiple World Cups, but on top of that as well, she had massive success with clubs like Bradford Bulls, St Helens, and many more. But yeah, for all the listeners you're in for a treat with the value and impact that she's doing, not only on the field but off the field. So again, Amy Hardcastle, what an honour it is to have you here. Thank you for joining us here at Talk Your Walk.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Amy.
No problem.
Before we kind of get into your story and share, your challenges and how you've managed to face them, we do a check-in that we do with everyone, and Talk Your Walk's about encouraging people to be vulnerable, encouraging them to speak up about their problems, but also encouraging check-in. And a lot of times we check-in at surface level, and the check-in that we're going to do hopefully breaks the walls down a bit, and just to see where you're at with your mind. And it's called Check-in FAM, and FAM is an acronym. F is for family, A stands for activity, and M stands for mindset, and we give it a rating. So, Amy, how's the family? Rating 0 to 5, 5 being good.
4.
4? Yeah. Why is it a 4? Because that's a good rating. That's a very good rating.
Good. Obviously, it can be difficult sometimes. Life goes quickly by and very busy, so probably need to put a little bit more time in at home.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say 4.
Nice. That's good. That's really good. Activity. So that's like training, movement, because we know how important activity can be for your mindset. So, how's the activity?
I'm on a bit of a deload week this week. Well, I've told myself that. So, I've kind of probably rested a little bit more, recognising that, because sometimes I can overtrain, especially when I've got a goal, which is round the corner. So, I'd say probably like a 2 this week, still being at club training, but just laid off the gym a little bit. Yeah.
But like you mentioned, recovery is key, isn't it? Like, you can do all the training in the world, but if your recovery's not right, then that has an effect on your body. But, man, you're looking in good shape anyway, so you're ready for Vegas, eh?
Yeah. Hopefully I just if I'm going yet.
Oh, I'm sure you're definitely going, Amy. And the last one, mindset. How's the mindset at the moment?
Realistically, I'm probably going to say a 1.
Yeah.
So you can see on the outside smiley and everything, but I've got a few stuff going on. Struggling really to find a bit of a level at the moment. I recognise it, which is good. And obviously using sport and being around my mates helps that. Kind of a little bit lost of where I want to be and what I want to do right now. So probably in a 1. Yeah.
Do you want to go into a little bit more detail on why the ratings are 1?
I think, it's being self-employed is not easy in any way. When you have time off, because it's holidays and things, you're not getting paid for it. January's a hard month as it is. Yeah. I'm in a very fortunate position, and I'm very lucky like that. But I like going out and I like working, and I am working, but the consistency is not where I want it to be. Yeah. So I'm a little bit dabbing all over. Yeah. And obviously, round menstrual cycle as well, it just absolutely chucks you out, and you'll know this with having females in the household. But it depends on time at month. That can just affect how I feel. So and like load was heavy last week with training, hit some PBs, so it's took out me a little bit. So I'm looking forward to February and
Yeah.
getting a bit more consistent with things. Get January out of the way.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks. It's always, it can be tough sometimes as well to share what you're going through, and to be able to share, what you just shared is massive, and we thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah, just even the PBs, eh?
Yeah.
People watching from home, or they see the highlights, but again, as we touch on it, they don't see the lowlights, eh? And you're coming down from hitting those PBs. What PBs were in the gym? Much heavier than Kiza.
So I've always been pretty strong, to be fair. That's like a massive strength of mine, and I like hold on to that. Might not be one of the fittest, but I know I'm one of the most powerful.
Just give me the boy.
Just give me the ball. So I've always been strong in the gym, but I've never really took supplements. And obviously, because I'm 36 next, to talk about getting on creatine and stuff, so I'm like, why not? And I don't have to do it because of the stigma, water retention, all this. Anyway, I've started creatine. I've probably been doing it a month, and yeah, I've seen some big improvements, because I was getting to a stage where I was like 80 kg on the bench, and I was like, I can't get past it. Whereas now and that was like for 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing 80 kg for like 6, and I find it okay. And then like last week,
Some work to do.
last week my dad was in the gym, and I was like, oh Dad, support me on this bench for me. So I managed to get 100 kg for one, which I was absolutely made up with. And then we did 3 rep max 120 for free, which if you look at my video I probably could have easily done more because there were no one about, but
Yeah.
just staggering myself, so I don't absolutely.
Man, those are good numbers, eh? Those are really good numbers, man.
But yeah, it just takes it out here a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's good for me because I got to a stage in my training where I was like, everyone else around me is like getting better, and I'm just stuck here. And then obviously, I'm not promoting creatine to anyone, by the way, but for me, it's just really helped me recover, my physical ability in the gym, and it's made my mind a lot better because I'm not stuck at that wall all the time. So I'm like, I've made a little bit more of a gain, which makes me able to like adapt better and put myself more in training and a bit more hunger to get up at 5 in the morning to go to the gym.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Appreciate you sharing that. Just even the sacrifices that you're saying and putting in, waking up at 5 again. No one sees, how's your quote go, Q?
Oh, what's done in the dark shines bright in the light. That's a massive one that we kind of live by because of what we've been through.
Yeah.
We know it's easy to train when people are watching, but it's the stuff that you do behind the closed doors. That's where the wins are. And if you're willing to do that long enough, and if you're willing to work hard long enough as well, then the rewards will come. And like at 35, did you say?
Yeah.
30.
In March. I should
March.
be. I should be
35.
suiting my
Sorry,
time.
come on, don't add years on it. And you're, and at 33, I made my Super League debut. But the older you get, you need to kind of find different ways to train. It's about training smarter. Even you're training hard, but finding ways to kind of adjust and adapt to these younger kids who are coming through. Eh?
Yeah, and I found that because it was becoming a bit like an illness training. I was in there every day.
Yeah.
And we're talking a few years ago, and I was probably overtraining, and I thought I was gaining, but I wasn't gaining. But I was just so obsessed with it because it is my outlet as well. So if I've had a bad day or something's happened at home, I'll go to the gym, and when I come out, I feel completely different. I feel relieved and better. But noticing now is actually rest is so much better, and I am seeing the gains.
Yeah.
And with my S&C, Sean at England, he trusts me in everything that I do, and it's really nice not to be micromanaged. He actually treats me as an individual, and he trusts me, and I do my thing, and he basically he did some testing, and I'm actually the strongest, the fastest, and the fittest that I've ever been, the most powerful since 2020. So we've been doing the testing since 2020, and it just proven. But that's just because I've managed my volume a lot better.
Yeah.
That's a powerful, that's a powerful takeaway.
Whereas all I've had since probably the last World Cup is, oh, you're getting old now, are you retiring?
Yeah.
I don't know. But everyone around you is telling you you're too old.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I feel fine.
Yeah.
And when I see people now, I'm like, I've got it in black and white. Actually, I'm the best I've ever been.
Yeah.
Mechanically.
Since 2020 as well.
Yeah.
To say, you're beating all the times and stuff, eh?
Same test since then.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see it go
I
out
know.
like that.
That's a great lesson though. Is age is just a number, eh?
Yeah.
And like you can't let people around you tell you you're too old. Within yourself, the confidence that you have in yourself, you can keep going, and it's showing.
Yeah.
Because like when we talk about the women's game over here, your name's at the top, and like that's for a lot of people. Growing up, we aspire to be these heroes that we watch on the screen, like Sean Johnson, Ali Lautiri, David Salamona. How was it with you growing up? Because the game, was it there, or like how was the game with you
there
growing
wasn't
up?
really much like going on with the women's game. Obviously, there was an England team, but it wasn't out there as much. And, we just played on your parks and things like that. It wasn't a thing. So for me, it was kind of the men's game, really, like Sam Burgess. That kind of year, really. But I was late at starting like into rugby. I was more a footballer and a little tomboy.
So were you chasing football, or was that football was just a passion?
No, so down Copley at Rish, you know where that is, because we've done.
Was that when I ran around you and touched you?
Maybe. Are you sure it was? So kind of, I lived in that little village down there, grew up down there,
nice
and there wasn't much about, so I could only do a bit of football with my brother and his mates, and then they had a union team down there, and started knocking about with lads on a Friday, and I thought, quite like this. And then that's how it kind of started, and as later on in life, and then I realised there were like league out there, and started watching it a little bit. But
So how old were you when you kind of got introduced into the game and felt, oh wow, this is something I want to get into?
I started at Siddle, and I was just nearly 18.
Oh wow!
So I'm quite late on.
Yeah.
So for me, like seeing anyone like growing up, I wouldn't have really known, but like at 18, and then you're seeing someone like Sam Burgess who was same age, but kind of that's what I remember from back then.
Is that who you're trying to mold your game around as well?
He's just solid, isn't he? Back in day, it was just like, wow. There was just not, like, I don't know how you can word it, but he just didn't give.
He didn't care. He didn't give a fuck, eh?
Yeah. I didn't know
you can say it.
I didn't know if I could swear him, but I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So that were probably it, really, and then kind of just enjoy playing it, really.
And where was your first club?
Where?
Yeah, where was your first?
So it was Siddle. Started at Siddle, started at Siddle, had a year there. We got promoted, really good. Very hard though, because like I say, people think I'm really confident. And as I've got older, I have got a lot better of it. But I really struggled trying to join a new team because I didn't know anyone, and I was like the new person and never really played league, and that was hard. But to go into Siddle and then within 6 months getting picked up for England, it was like, shit, my journey's starting.
Wow.
It went from there, really, and I'm so grateful for that, because I was at a stage in my life where I was being a little shit. I was hanging around with some really fun people and probably getting up to stuff I shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah.
But I don't regret that, because, I enjoyed some of my youth, but it was time for me to leave that and think, right, what do I want to do? Because if I don't sort myself out, I'm going to end up going the other way.
Yeah.
So I had a purpose. I found something that I loved. And when we were talking earlier, I'm thinking now, 17 years later, I've stuck to that.
Yeah, hats off to you. I know you're touching on it, and man, could just hear your passion that you have, not only, for the community, but, people worldwide, and the impact that you wanted to do. Do you want us to take us a little bit on a journey on, a bit of your upbringing? You touched on it a bit. Be happy to, what did that look like?
Anyway, I've learned everything. That's why I'm like I am now. Brought up in little village. Grew up in the flats with my mum and my brother. Didn't really have much. Had a sofa when we first started, but something that I'll never forget is, like, money don't mean anything, but obviously it helps in life. But Mum always brought me up to be, enriched with love and support. and that's what she did. She did her very best. My dad, in and out of my life, you know, he could have been professional footballer, but he was one at boys and, you know, going out taking drugs and, you know, drinking and stuff, and seeing him throughout my life, and, you know, we've got such a good relationship now. It's great. And I always look back and I think, oh, I really needed my dad back then. But I didn't. I think I just needed that emotion. I was looking for something, and obviously craving that because I didn't have him. But I need him more than I ever have, and that's now, like, being older. And I'm so grateful that, you know, he's a better person now, and he's there for me. And, you know, the past is the past. You can't do out by it, but I focus on the time that I have with him now and make the most of it. So that was kind of my upbringing. My brother used to beat shit out of me as a young one.
Is he older?
Yeah, he's a couple of years older. By the way, he's a social worker now, just letting you know.
Yeah, that's when you were younger.
But do you know what? I look back and I think it's probably helped me. Like, took me through a window and I headbutted him and knocked his teeth out. But, you know, that's brother and sister love.
That's it, yeah.
But no, I had a good upbringing. Very cared with my grandparents, and I love, like, that family network. I'm very passionate about, you know, my family around me, and still take my grandma out for a cuppa on a Thursday morning, which is important. You know, she's in her 80s now. But yeah, good upbringing. Like I say, one at boys, spent my time in the river all the time with my life jacket on. Mum would only let me out with my life jacket.
Even in the winter?
Not in winter, I'd probably get swept away. But summer 6-week holidays, I was in the river. So yeah, that was kind of my younger days. School difficult.
Yeah.
Bad attitude.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think? Because you see a lot of kids these days who go through school, high school, and you can see that attitude's bad. But there's a reason why.
I think probably a lot with the uncertainty with my dad and stuff. I used to, you know, even though my mum was my mum, I think it was my mum's fault.
Yeah. Until
I got older, because she never painted my dad as a bad person. So I think there were probably that issue with maybe the emotional side of not having my dad, struggling in lessons, not understanding, like, the work that's put in front of me. So then I'd get bored and then I'd just kick off, so then I didn't have to be in there. But, like, as it was coming to the end of my school years, like year 11 they call it, don't they? I started sorting myself out a little bit. I thought I've got to pick myself up now, and I think I got a little bit older. Yeah, and that probably helped. But I had great PE teachers that saw potential in me, and my technology teacher and my drama, because very practical. I've learned that I'm a practical person, and that's what I passed in. I left school with no. The only grades I got was in PE, drama, and wood tech.
That's probably more than
so you know, school had its times and stuff like that, but I do think it was just probably that emotional side of not dealing with things and then struggling in lessons, which just brought attitude.
Wow. Do you feel like you carried that on too as well, like, for, you know, when you talk about the transition out of school?
Yeah, I feel like I've carried it for quite a few years. I look back now and I cringe at some of the stuff that I've done, and, like, even in rugby, like, when I was so emotional, I'd just, like, walk off pitch and go home, because I wouldn't be able to deal with how I was feeling because of the anger. But yeah, I think it's hard. I just don't know why I've not really learned about myself at them, you know, years ago. But I just don't know if there were opportunities or things out there then, like there is now.
No.
You know.
You touched on, you know, purpose and clarity a bit. Do you feel like you've got that now, or looking back, do you feel that would have probably helped you if you knew back then?
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm really passionate now in helping younger ones. Oh God, I could have done with this like 15 years ago, and you know, I don't regret anything I've done, because it's your journey, it's a part of you, and that's why I've probably become the person that I am. So I don't regret that in any way. But yeah, I wish there were things that I knew now that I knew back then. Yeah. But I think a lot of people probably say that because as you get older, you do get a bit wiser, don't you?
You learn from your experience, don't you?
Yeah.
And Like when you talk about after going into rugby and 6 months, then playing for England, how did that change your life? Like in terms of the training, in terms of the mindset, in terms of working hard and all that.
I was like, it's hard because how many people would actually say I can play for my country?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm just this girl who's left school. I'm in college at the moment,
Yeah,
and now I'm potentially going to put an England shirt on. Like, in a way, I've been a bit of a failure if you were looking at statistics or on a child leaving school or not. But I just to be able to get that place in that squad, like it's game changer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because once I put that England shirt on and I got picked for that tour, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest, but this is me.
Yeah.
Felt home. It felt safe. I felt connected in where I was. I felt like it was just right for me.
Yeah. And so that year you got named in the England squad, who did you play that year? Did you end up playing?
We played France, away.
France.
We had a couple of test match. I actually started on the wing.
Yeah.
With my black and red hair.
Black and red? Gonna have to look back at that,
I've been some colours.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, yeah, and there weren't that many games back then.
Yeah.
So it was like every few years. It's not like now. It's great now. Like when we look at, international caps, there'll be just more and more nowadays. We'll be kind of like just, in the past, like they're small numbers, but that's just the way the game's growing. But yeah, we played for it. That's all we could kind of do till 2013 until we hit the World Cup.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah.
So it was just more France.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time as well. 2009 made the debut till now.
Yeah, actually, I had a child in between that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, she's 14 now. She's like 14. Yeah.
Wow.
Year
Wow.
9.
How was that?
Well, it was hard because it wasn't planned, of course, and
Yeah.
I remember sitting in the peace hall with my ex-husband at the time.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't married then, but yeah, and was like, well, what should we do? We'd only been together about a month.
Yeah.
I think I conceived on my 21st birthday at Cyril. Can remember the dates down to a T. So yeah, anyway, there was a trip going to New Zealand.
Yeah.
And for me it was going to be a big thing because, I've only ever played France and this would be the next step. So obviously, I chose to keep Olivia, which I'm so grateful for.
Oh,
she's
100%,
been the light of everything. And I had to work my ass off to get back in that squad again. But yeah, so once I'd had Olivia and were hard at first, don't get me wrong, and I struggled with postnatal depression.
Yeah.
Once I'd found my feet again and got myself back out there and got around the girls and training again, I was like, right, 2013, I want to come for you and go in that World Cup.
Yeah. Man, it's so tough what you go through. Because as men, we don't need to worry about that, and like as women who are trying to aspire to be professionals and, you get pregnant, then that stores your progress massively.
Yeah.
And so for you to be able to come back after and have a goal to play for England again, what a massive achievement.
Yeah, and it's so hard because, there's quite a few girls that will probably wait till the next World Cup to have kids.
Yeah.
And back then I was, I'd think, oh God, and that, it's, I missed out on this and that time out and I've had to work myself back in. But when I look now, I think I've been there, I've done that. And I'm so glad that I did because Olivia's been part of this journey.
Yeah.
And, after the 2022 World Cup, I was even contemplating of having another child. And that soon one went out window. I was just like, it's great, but I still feel like I need to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
And if that time would ever come, it would come. But my focus is like just playing as much as I can because it's a short-lived career.
It is. It is. How's Olivia? Does she play?
Yeah, she's at Dewsbury Moor.
Oh, she?
Yeah, she's good.
What position does she play?
Well, she was half-back because being
skills.
brought up with it.
Yeah.
So obviously a skill at her level was, at her age, was good. But she's now found herself that she wants to be in the centres like Mum.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's hard.
That was going to happen.
How hard is it being a parent on sideline?
Are you one of them parents like Sui? Hey, run the ball! And just shouts out, or are you just quiet and wait until you're in the car?
I was probably like that until I started doing my counselling, but now I just like stand back and my face probably says it all sometimes.
It's so cool, man.
I know.
Like we touched on it, your massive role model, inspiration to many out there making waves here. How's that feeling for you? Do you feel like any sense of pressure in terms of what you've accomplished, but how many people look up to you?
I don't feel the pressure. I appreciate. Sometimes after a game, I just want to see everyone. I appreciate like families and young people coming to our games and older people and supporting it, because we didn't have that years ago. We had our family there and that were it. And we've got people buying our shirts with my, putting the name on and my number on the shirts and taking that time out to come in to our game and support us. And I just, it's hard because I just, like I say, I want to see everyone, and I know it's hard to do that, but I just appreciate this so much because we never had it.
Yeah.
And I do care about people. Like I'm a massive empath. Like it's, it's written in the stars, Miss Pisces.
Yeah.
And I do care about people. And if there's someone out there and they want to chat and they want to become like a better player, or they even just want to chat and just get to know me, like I just love that. I think it's part of our game.
Yeah, it is.
And I know it's not always easy for people, but I absolutely love the people that people look up to me, and I always try my best to be a positive outlook and a positive inspiration to others, and be authentic as well. Using sometimes like podcast yourself and doing interviews, and when I did the Woman of Steel documentary before the World Cup is showing people that there's another side, so don't sometimes be thinking what you see on social media is a snippet of like truth. Like there's also that other side. But no, I don't feel the pressure. I really love connecting with other people.
And I think, man, what you're doing is awesome. We spoke off air just before about how we were talking to one of our connections for Talk Your Walk, and she mentioned her daughter got into rugby because of yourself, and so you're inspiring a lot of girls. Keep inspiring, because I feel like the game, the girls, even the guys, need the game to grow. And the stuff that you learn from the game, respect, team building, everything that you learn. I think that's the massive win from the game itself, is the people that you meet and the stuff that you learn, the values that you learn, and the more people need to be playing it.
Yeah, I agree, and people joining the game that they've never done because they've watched the World Cup, and some of the biggest things for me is changing people's like perspective and mindset on the women's game, because you've got people that have probably watched and followed the game for many years who girls can't play rugby league, and then when you have people like that messaging you and like, I actually hold my hands up here, I've never had a good thing to say about women's game, but I've watched your game today, wow, I'm speechless. Like things like that, like them little things is changing perspective of people. And then girls coming into the game who's never played before because they've seen that and like, I want to give that a go. That's the things that the positive stuff that I love about rugby league.
That's powerful. I think you touched on it a little bit, and it's pretty sad to hear as well, like how it is right now, where it is with the women's sports and rugby league particularly. Is there anything, if you look back with your your amazing career, that there's probably one advice that could probably help touch on the struggles that the game is at right now?
I think we've obviously got to get in the grassroots and support massively. That's where we've got to come from, but just giving girls more of them opportunities, and it's the things like you do, like the TMP, it's for all, isn't it? And I think it's just kind of remembering, don't be judgmental on something, and just if it's not going to be a positive thing you're going to say about it, hold it in, because it can actually affect someone massively, especially a young person coming into the game, and it's like, well, you can't do that straight away. If you're struggling, you're not going to go do that because someone's told you you're not going to be able to. So it's kind of, if you feel you've got that ability, go do it. Don't be worried about anyone else. Just focus on you.
What do you think the RFL can do more to help grow the game, the women's game?
I feel like we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm head coach at Halifax Panthers, and we've gone into a better league this year. And they've listened to the feedback from myself from previous league we're in, and I feel like they are doing things because the women's game is a fast growing sport at the moment, and all we've got to keep doing is trying our best to support the clubs. And I don't know if there's anything out there that Super League clubs can do, or even international level is, can we find some time as athletes to give something back to the game?
Yeah.
Like I'm at myself and Shona Hoyle, we go to Siddle and we'll do, some training sessions, and I'll always do things. If someone approaches me, I don't want to put it out there and everyone start messaging me, but if someone asks for some support, if I can, then I will go do that, because I am passionate about the growing the game. And I feel like if there's something, I don't know, if we all buy in it as a Super League, is can we give so much back to our community girls and just go and invest? It might be 1 hour a month.
Yeah.
Can we do that? I would happily do that, but like you say, we're not on contracts and things like that such yet. So I don't know. It's on the individual, I suppose, but it's very tight in at the RFL of what their limitations are and things. So does it kind of come down to yourself, really? Depends where you want to go and what your passion is.
I agree with you. I think we need to start from the grassroots first. And you saying that you've actually started it yourself. You've started, is it Aim for You?
Aim for You.
Aim for You, which is targeted for girls and playing rugby. Can you talk more about that? Because I think what you're doing is awesome. I think we need to help grow it. Can you just kind of explain to the listeners what it is?
So last year, I worked for Rugby League Cares for a couple of years and did a lot of mental health workshops and getting into the community game, and I really enjoyed going to community clubs and engaging, especially, like, I didn't mind the lads, like, I thought it was good because you know what lads like, they're just silly, but like I loved connecting with the younger girls because, like you say, they're not exposed to anything, they don't really get to see many of us in the game, and I just like thinking, like, what could I do, what am I passionate about? And obviously my journey that I've been on and some of my mental health struggles, and even in my early 20s with my struggles, and I was thinking there's nothing for girls out there. What can I do? So I created Aim for You, so it's AME and then number 4, because I play in number 4 and I was born on 4th of March.
Oh, wow.
So, and then obviously You, so it's kind of like an open thing, so if I do counselling it could be Aim for You counselling. But so created girls camps from age of 7 up until 16, 17. So put it out there, did my first one at Siddle, great support Siddle. They always support me. We give each other back, and I think it's important you still connect with your community club. Because that's where you start. It was just a massive hit. Did a 2-day camp, so did a lot like your core skill, fun games, obviously tackling, just your fundamentals of rugby league basically. And then we did some workshops inside, and Georgia Hale, who was Golden Boot winner. She's absolutely a machine, and I love it a bit. She was great, and she got on board and helped me do some of the sessions, and just different internationals coming in and coaching. And so G did some tackle tech in wrestler room, and then we did some self-image workshops inside and nutrition. So Shona Hoyle's massive on her food. She loves finding stuff on TikTok and making, and we made these pizzas out of flour and water and made a base, and yogurt. No, it wasn't. It was yogurt and flour. It was just fun. Obviously some texture issues, whatever, but it was fun. The girls, learning different things of making a healthier pizza for more nutrition, and did some resilience workshops. So kind of doing some of the rugby stuff in the morning, but the afternoon is we need to do workshops around looking after, our mental health, our well-being, so we can play rugby outside, But if we don't look after our mental health
Yeah,
and as well-being, how can you perform on a field?
that's it.
So we opened up conversations around, like I was saying, body image, resilience, your actual well-being, nutrition, sleep. So all these different things that you need to be able to be a person and
Yeah.
also an athlete. So that's kind of why I started it as well, thinking about everything that I've done. And yeah, I did quite a few camps last year, and they were all successful. I'm not just saying that, but the feedback that I've had from parents. And I had a girl's parent tag me in something the other day because they were making a pizza at home that they learnt on the camp, and people messaging saying, "Are you putting more camps on?" And I just think I've achieved what I wanted to do,
Yeah,
and make a difference in girls. I think this is another thing that highlighted me was, you know, when you're at a club and then you get maybe some honours to maybe step up to, might be like for us it's like Yorkshire, or it might be England Knights, or into an international setup. Girls aren't used to mixing with other people.
yeah,
So creating this all girls camp was them getting used to talking to girls from other different clubs.
yeah,
So it's nice to hear that they've made friendships.
Yeah.
So when they're going to different places or see each other, where you have like your talent pathways now at different clubs, Super League clubs for girls, they all recognise each other because they've been on my camp. So that is the reason why I did it, just to kind of give them some tools.
yeah. And what's your vision for Aim for You? What's like the end goal?
I'd like to do it a lot more.
Yeah.
Obviously, I run it around work, so I can only do it in school holidays.
Yeah,
But yeah, it would be just to make it bigger and better.
yeah,
But like I say, it's only my second year, so I'm trying not to get too far in front. But my vision would be to create a legacy and create something, not just for the generation now, but the generation that'll be coming through as well.
No, because like I mentioned before, what you're doing is amazing. We'll definitely talk after this because we feel like we can help you get into different areas, and it's because I have 2 girls and my daughter's 10, and I really think she'll benefit from your camps just as much as a lot of other girls as well. But I want to, because you spoke about the mental health side, about growing up, and that's something that you're passionate about, and helping the girls with body image. Can you touch on a few of that if you're happy to touch on that?
So Paige Travis won a England international, and she plays at Saints. She just got an NRLW contract for Eels. So Paige struggled a lot with like body image, and we kind of spoke about this, and something like she's always had this issue with like that identity and outer look because she's very girly away from rugby, and then obviously she's the rugby player, and I've found it in myself is it's, you look on social media and there's a certain way how you're supposed to look at the moment, and it's the gym girl. I think we've gone through a transition in life, haven't we, where it was you be very slim, whereas now it's all about training and having that gym body. And I think you can sometimes get lost in how you're supposed to look, and you get obsessed with like reality, but actually there's so much filter on things. And what I especially wanted to do as well, and spoke with Paige, is like, how can we, especially the younger girls, is touch up on like authenticity and just, this is you. Because I got obsessed at one point a few years ago, is that I had to be that certain way to be liked and things like that. But I suppose when you're vulnerable and your mental health's not great, you end up looking for like little fixes to make you feel better. And then once I kind of accepted, like when I talk about my strengths, I was saying about being strong and powerful, I was just like, no, this is me. Like, I am not designed to be a petite little girl because I'm so broad. I've got broad shoulders, I've got big legs, got a big fat ass. Like,
you got bigger legs than me.
I have got bigger legs than you. And I'm thinking, why am I trying to be petite? Like, accept how I am. And I always used to think I had to be a certain weight. I'm not going to be that weight. So, like, now I just embrace, like, yeah, I am a bit stocky, and, yeah, I have got thick thighs, and I think I need that. I'm a rugby player. On a night out, I like to feel really girly, so sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to feel girly. But then I think, no, be proud of who I am. So, like, you know, I'm about 85 kg, and I'm in the best shape I've ever been. But years ago, I'd be, like, stressing at that weight.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's because I found that within myself, like, no, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I need that. When I'm on that rugby field, I'm going to need that.
Yeah.
And just trying to come back in myself. But it took me some time because I was obsessed with what I thought was likeable.
Oh, what great advice.
Yeah,
Man,
that's powerful.
Yeah.
that's really powerful advice, because what you've just spoke about, guys go through as well. But yeah, as women, like you said, when you look on social media, there's a certain image society thinks you should be like, but you know, it's the person in the mirror. It's like, what are your attributes? And that's the biggest thing that you should be worried about, because we're all different, you know. And like you said, your strengths are to run over people, you know, to use your broad shoulders and your big legs. My strengths are to use my little legs to get around, to get around them. But such powerful advice, and thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people can learn from that.
Yeah, not only that, I think a lot of like girls, like you touched on, because they look up to a lot of the sports people, what they see on social media, and so it can be tough to try and compare yourself to them, or you know, no one really sees the filters and all that kind of stuff. Was there a key moment where you got the click, because you touched on authenticity? No, just where was that moment for you when you was like, nah, I'm authentic, man. It's me. You know, it's how did you embrace yourself and just come to that moment?
I think it was probably about 3 years ago when I started doing my counselling and understanding me more, taking myself away what I thought, actually, why am I bothered what people think? Because what happens when you do counselling and stuff like that, you learn about self-image and yourself. So I came away from what I thought self-image was, which creates, when you do things for other people, it's all for self-image, and that means you struggle more with your mental health and your self-esteem, so you're coming away from what's true in here. But when you focus on, actually, I'm kind, I'm empathetic, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm actually a good person, and once you've accepted all them, it's like you're living with who you are and who you believe you are. So once I'd like learnt that, I was like, oh, stuff that, like that's not me. And I think now everything that I do put on my socials, I am careful, because I know people look up to me, and you've got to be so careful, because you don't know the level of obsession or someone might be following you. So I'm very careful that if I do put stuff on my socials where it is around training and things like that, is make sure I'm not putting something out there could it have a negative impact, if that makes sense. Especially around that body image kind of thing. So it's probably a few years ago that was the highlight for me. But
that's powerful, and I appreciate sharing that, and I know many people will take away and learn and be helped from what you just shared. I think you touched a little bit about counselling. How did that come along, or what happened for you to get to that point where you said, oh, hey, I need counselling?
So I'd had it throughout some of my years, and just talking therapy, and when I was at Rugby League Cares doing the workshops, kind of, oh, I get it. I'm relating to all these people that I'm speaking to. I know we'd done a workshop in Fire Station one time, and oh, they were scary. Just sat there in front of all these men and maybe the odd firewoman, and it was just like, but there's so much relatability. It doesn't matter what line of work you've come from. Like, someone's probably struggled like you, but hadn't spoke about it. And then at Cares, they put me on my level 3 counselling skills, and I'm grateful for this to this day, because that kind of was that changing point. And obviously going in community and working with young people, I felt more drawn to the younger people in helping them. And then obviously I left Cares and decided that I'm going to do my level 4. I want to be a counsellor and I want to work with young people, because I do think there's not much support out there. So that's kind of where it came from, really. But doing it myself, it is important, just to talk to someone. You don't have to go to counselling because you're struggling. You can go to counselling because you're chatting. I could come in here with you today and go, I just want to have an offload, I want to chat to you. You feel better because talking does help.
Yeah.
But you need to talk to someone who's not going to start interrupting and telling you how to fix things, but listen.
Yeah.
You just want someone to listen to you.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest fundamental I've learned from doing my counsel is just sit and listen, because that's all someone wants to do, is
Yeah.
just speak.
Well, that's
And,
powerful. We touch on that massively.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable and sometimes checking in on people. It's not necessarily telling them what to do or how they are. It's just listening.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of the healing will come from that. Can you think, man? Because honestly, massive what you've shared.
There's
inspirational
loads of
journey,
takeaways,
and
man.
you're just getting started. Eh?
I
36.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
No, just getting
35,
started.
35,
35, man. No, stop adding years on
Yeah.
it.
Is there any anything when you look back in your career, on and off the field? Is there one sort of pivotal moment where you felt like quitting, giving up, and then you overcoming it? Is there or something that you haven't really shared that you feel like it's it's paved the way for you to get to where you now?
I don't know, it's quite different. I think the hardest was obviously coming back from having a child.
Yeah.
Because one minute you're playing for your country, and next thing you're just a mum,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're not playing. And you've got to work, you've got to then make them connections of, can I come back training? And I wasn't in the England squad, that was it, I was out.
Yeah.
True.
So the hardest thing for me was obviously coming through the postnatal depression, because when I had Olivia, I was at uni, I was a gym instructor, I was training, obviously playing for England, and that all went.
Yeah.
And nothing on my husband, he was a great dad and great husband, and but it was just like, that was the hardest thing, is like, you've got this identity of who you are,
Yeah.
and now I'm just a mum, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wasn't just a mum, I was more than that, but that's how it felt. So that was the hardest, is getting back in there. But something that hasn't happened, and I do not like looking into the future, because there's no point, it just brings anxiety. That's, past and future, you can't control anything.
Yeah.
So there's no point worrying. But this is something I have to deal with all the time, is when that time comes when I no longer have rugby,
Yeah.
and it scares me. And when I talk now, I feel myself filling up,
Yeah.
because I just love the sport. I love being part of something. I love being around the girls. Going out, getting on the M62 to Saints Tuesday,
Yeah.
Thursdays. Like, I love it. Getting in the car, having a sing-song, having a chat,
Yeah.
like with girls, messing about. Like, there's some quality times. Like, they're better than any nights out.
Yeah.
And and that worries me. Like, will my identity go then? And I think that's at the moment with my college stuff, I'm doing some research on identity as, when you finish playing. But that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel ready to give up. I think I might be older than you, Q, and I'm gonna I'll probably be with my walking stick and still acting for 10 minutes.
Till the wheels fall off, eh?
Yeah, but that's probably something that I'm very aware of. I don't like to be aware, but realistically, I know I am getting older. But that's probably going to be my big next step.
I can relate to that, because that's how I was feeling. In my head, I was going to play for as long as I could, until obviously I had my heart attack. That kind of forced me to retire. But I was going through the same thing. It's like, oh man, like, this is going to stop one day. And like, I can't kind of get past the emotions that when it does, how am I going to feel? But what helped me was kind of find a new purpose. Talk Your Walk was it. We started Talk Your Walk 3 years ago. And to be able to go into schools and organisations and talk about my journey and helping those with their journeys I found that was going to replace rugby. And so that helped me. Like, because I don't know if it'll help you, but finding something that you love to do on the side of rugby, because rugby's always going to be number one.
Yeah.
But being able to find something that's close to that helped me with the transition. And so, hopefully that can help you, Hopefully you can retire till you're like, 60 or something,
I
yeah.
hope so. But
Still number one.
Yeah. And that's why I think, I always believe, things happen for a reason. I think I've gone into counselling for a reason.
Yeah.
And then I think for the aim for you stuff,
Yeah.
maybe is that my next purpose? Is that my next journey in life? I don't know. But just listening to you there makes me think, actually, there might be something going on behind the scenes, and I don't know this is happening, but this is like my path.
Yeah.
It's building.
Yeah. I
But
think
yeah,
so.
it scares me.
Yeah, that's powerful. I appreciate you sharing that as well. For like any sports person, they didn't realise sometimes, I'm guilty of it, that there is an expiry date on that day. But I think acceptance is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned. Accepting things for what it is, and that's a hard thing, like you mentioned, like even losing my dad. But accepting it, because that's life. We're all eventually going to get to that point where one day we're not here, and and I think that's where the hardest battle is, trying to fight the things it's going to happen. It's part of the reality. So I feel, appreciation. That's what I just mentioned, man. It's a tough one, but thank you.
It's
know,
all right.
for sharing.
I think it's hard when you, like, I don't know about yous, but like the last 15 years, 17 years, wow, it's gone quick. I'm like, where's it gone? At the time, it felt really slow, and I'm like, oh my, wow, I'll be 40 soon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Got another, what,
Still-
6 years, man.
I'm still feeling it since 2020. Like all the stats you were talking about, number one, and all the strength.
Yeah, and I think this is the other thing as well is, potentially after the next World Cup next year, maybe my international days are over. Is
Is that what you're saying to yourself, or?
Well, it could be. It all depends on the coach, what they're wanting. Like, I'm always making sure that I'm trying to be the best that I can be. I always try and make sure there's no reason for that coach not to select me. So I'm always, like, when you say, like, doing the things behind closed doors, I'm doing the little things behind closed doors. People might not always see it, but I do this. And that's another thing, like, when you've been in a setup for, like, 17 years and you've played in that, in that shirt. Like, I always remember 2013, Chris Chapman saying, when you get this shirt, never let it go.
Yeah.
And if you let it go, that means someone who's better than you has took that shirt.
Yeah.
And never forget that. And it's always stuck with me. So now, like, I'm thinking that number 4 shirt, like, what's the next for that number 4 shirt? Once I can't do that justice anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just ready for someone else. Like, that's hard thinking of, I'm not potentially going to be playing for my country, but I'll keep smashing my scores.
That's it, yeah. Keep giving those PBs,
I'll break the stigma.
That's it, you can be the first.
Yeah.
And then everyone else will think that it was impossible because you've made it possible.
Yeah.
Everyone else will follow, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even to excel at your age, 35, going to 36, that's crazy, man.
Oh, you got the age right there.
Yeah. But it's inspiring at the same time. You're thinking, I know, with the age as well and the experiences you've been through in the journey, it would have had its challenge of people, the self-doubt,
Yeah.
people saying you're old enough, retire. Like,
Yeah.
how do you deal with that? Like, especially now, because you're at your peak, but only you will know that,
Yeah.
eternally, yeah. So how do you deal with people that don't see?
That's been hard because it's so easy for people's comments. Like, and if someone says something positive, it's really, well, you can't take it sometimes, but when someone says negative, it's like, I get you. I believe that, because unfortunately, our brain is made up of more negatives than emotions than it is positive. When you think about the basic 6 emotions, which you'd have learned at Rugby League Cares, if you can remember.
Yeah. Oh, easy.
So naturally, we do take more of the negatives, and it was hard because I really doubted myself. And it affected my training, which then has an impact. And then when you question yourself, actually, I'm getting too old. So then it's like pulling yourself away and actually going back to your strengths.
Yeah.
What can I bring? What do I still bring?
Yeah.
All these people around me who actually have value are telling me I'm this, and this, but I've got a couple of individuals who I don't know them. You're getting past it.
Yeah.
Why are they sticking with me? So it's kind of, you just got to give yourself time.
Yeah.
Just got to learn about yourself a little bit more and learn, like, the true value and then positive people around you, and take that in. And something that is hard is taking that compliment, but if someone says you're good at this or you look good today, oh, thanks, I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
And store it in there.
Yeah.
If someone's got something shit to say about you, just cancel it out, because it means nothing, but it can have a big impact on how you feel and how your day goes.
Nah, yeah. Again, man. Amy, man, loads of powerful takeaways. Again, appreciate you coming on our podcast. I knew this was going to be a good one. You know, sharing your ups and your downs. But yeah, I just feel like you're going to inspire a lot of people, a lot of girls, a lot of people out there. So again, thank you for coming on and really appreciate it.
Yeah, just on top of that as well, it's such an honour to have you hear your journey. Yeah, no doubt we're inspired from it, but we're excited as well. You know, we believe your better days are still ahead of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And even once, you know, rugby is, I know you're just going to keep going up because
Yeah.
the heart and passion that you have, nothing can stop you. So I'm excited on what that looks like. And yeah, we're cheering you on.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.